For years, Bitcoin predictions followed the same playbook: cycles, halvings, blow-offs, crashes. But some of the biggest names in Bitcoin and macro are now saying 2026 is different, that this is the year the old rules stop working and the expectations of the past break for good. So, who's saying it? And what exactly do they think changes next? Stick around. Today's episode pulls together the most important and outlandish, maybe, 2026 predictions for Bitcoin that you need to hear. Stick around. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions, and this is your weekly session. All right, I want to welcome to the stage my co-hosts, Mr. Nathan and Gary of Mentor Session. Gentlemen, good to see you. Happy holidays. How you doing?
Good to see you, sir. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, Gary.
Happy Hanukkah.
Get out of here. No kidding.
Gary is the most festive of all of us, but we'll see if we can compete here. Gents, we're talking some Bitcoin predictions for 2026, and there's been some interesting ones. Should we just dive in? Should we just go for it?
Let's go for it. Let's just have fun today.
All right. We're gonna do it. We're gonna see what's on the docket here. So I was talking about cycles, and we've had kind of this familiar 4-year cycle for as long as we can remember. However, some things have been notably different this year, or this cycle rather. Number one, previously we thought that it was impossible to go below the previous all-time high in a bear market. Well, that definitely happened this past cycle when FTX imploded and we went below the 20K mark down to 15, I think. We also broke another major milestone where previously, if it was after the halving, that's usually when a run-up would happen. You wouldn't see a new all-time high. Well, this time, pre-halving, we hit a new all-time high. It was in the 70s before the April 2024 halving. So that was yet another different thing. And then the one expectation that seems to have held, disappointingly so, is the gains are less and less each cycle. So the diminishing returns. But that may not be the case. Maybe. Is this time different? I don't know. Let's take it's anybody's guess. But there's some major names in the space that are chatting about what may be different this time around. So Bitwise, they say that Bitcoin will break its 4-year cycle in 2026. Cycles are a thing of the past, they say. So the CIO of Bitwise, Matt Hogan, I'm not sure how to say his last name. He said it's likely to hit new all-time highs next year with lower volatility and weaker equity correlations, reshaping how institutions view the asset. So they dropped a whole list of their predictions for the next year. And actually, I'm going to pull up their list. Now, Bitcoiners, earmuffs, they do use the term crypto quite a bit in their list of predictions. So just get the shutters out now. It's okay. But we can pontificate on what they see happening for 2026. So let's take a peek at what they've got here. All right. So they said, as disclaimer, as with all predictions, these are not guarantees, but represent our best informed estimate. The future is complex and conditional, and whether these pan out exactly as written will depend on many complicated factors. Nothing that follows is investment advice. So here we go. Prediction number one, Bitcoin will break the 4-year cycle and set new all-time highs. This first one, what do you guys think about that? Do you think this is in the cards for 2026?
Honestly, even looking back, we're breaking the 4-year cycle. What cycle? What cycle happened this time? Nothing about what happened this time was part of the 4-year cycle. The previous break low, the previous break a high, and really a 2x. You're gonna call a 2x barely off the top of last cycle like a cycle? Like, no, that's mostly accounted for by just inflation. There was no euphoria in the market at any point in time that I could really gauge. Right? We didn't see retail pile in. I wasn't getting asked by my cousin. I wasn't getting asked by the cab driver. The cycle's already done. I don't think we're breaking the 4-year cycle. I think the 4-year cycle is broken. And coming along with that too, I think the drawdown aspect, the bear market that follows, if people are still expecting that, but we didn't get the euphoria top, I don't know what you're smoking, but in my younger years, I would have asked for some. Gary?
Yeah, can I preface this by saying that I have no clue what to believe because, there's been a lot of people coming in, experts in the space who are very smart people, way smarter than I am. And we've talked about there being, the standard 4-year halving cycle, which I guess happened 3 times and is 3 times enough to call it like this standard thing that's always going to happen. And of course, Lynn Alden has talked about correlating it with, the Federal Reserve and interest rate cycles. And I was just listening to Jeff Ross talking about correlating it with manufacturing. So I don't know. I don't know at all. I know enough to know that I don't know anything, and that everybody that talked about 200K or 300K or 473K in this cycle does not know. And Bitcoin's just going to do what it's going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't be actually, I would find a moderately higher all-time high next year, like nothing earth-shattering, but just kind of like peaking up an extra 10K above the previous or whatever it is, like up another like 5-10% or something like that. That to me would be incredibly bullish because it would mean that indeed the 4-year cycle is done, and it might be an indication that we're just going to kind of gradually grind higher. And so one that gets rid of who Nathan fondly refers to as the tourists, because it's no longer this exciting like pop around thing. It's just like a steady grind. But 2, it just becomes like a much simpler thing to just set it and forget it and stack sats and stop obsessing over the movements. I would kind of, while it wouldn't be as exciting and constant dopamine hits, it would just be kind of like a nice, I wouldn't mind at all, to be honest.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go with the crazy prediction. So how I'm thinking about this is, one, the best model I have for figuring out where Bitcoin is going to go is it's always the most interesting thing. And the most interesting thing can be like, it does completely none of your expectations and is boring as crap. But now that everybody thinks it's going to be boring as crap next year, maybe slowly grind higher, because I agree, Ben, that's probably the most likely case. I'm going to call it now because if I'm wrong, nobody will call me on it. But if I'm right, I can clip this and be like, I'm a genius, right? It's that survivor's bias. So I'm going to say Bitcoin over 300K by the end of 2026 with no basis whatsoever, just so I can clip this section later.
Perfect. And if not, we'll scrub it from the internet.
That's right.
Perfect. Okay, up next, Bitcoin will be less volatile than NVIDIA. Do you think?
Good chance. Yeah, I think that they're way out over their skis. And it could be even just on a very short term, in the sense that I don't know when the AI correction is going to happen, but I'm still kind of in the camp that it will happen. Like, it's just been way too much hype and way too much spending and not enough revenue actually being generated. But like, is it volatility in terms of percentage, volatility in terms of dollar amount? Because it's a giant market cap that you're dealing with, and over what time period?
Yeah. And also, if the AI bubble deflates, wouldn't that make NVIDIA just more volatile to the downside?
Correct. I'm not thinking NVIDIA is volatile to the upside.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I'm not big following NVIDIA. I know that they're worth 2 Canadas right now. Is that correct? Yeah.
They're worth more than Remember when they just used to focus on GPUs so we could play fun games? That was a better time. You could actually buy them for a reasonable price.
Yeah. Well, I mean, NVIDIA has created, I don't know. Would you rather own NVIDIA or 2 Canadas?
Ooh. Do I get to dictate what happens in Canada?
No.
Then no, the NVIDIA.
That's why it's worth 2 Canadas.
Can we just start pricing Bitcoin in Canadas? That would be fantastic.
That's a great idea. We'll start measuring things in Canadas.
Yeah, you just have like 1 maple leaf, like a quarter of a maple leaf. Just, that's how many Canadas it is.
Yeah, I would love that. I think that'd be a perfect measure of, I mean, I know what I would trade, what I would prefer to own. Okay, ETFs will purchase more than 100% of the new supply of Bitcoin. Yeah, like I think that's already happening, isn't it?
That's already given, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's not a prediction. That's an observation of the present.
But will that continue to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot of new Bitcoin coming into, like most of that gets bought up in the first place, unless there's like a complete collapse of demand everywhere. I think that the new supply of Bitcoin gets eaten up pretty easily nowadays.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a huge collapse in demand either. I think you're going to see more of a, would you say, almost like your S&P 500, your NASDAQ, that kind of like passive flows. The ETFs are going to get normalized in different products and in people's retirement savings accounts. I think you're going to see the amount of kind of like passive ETF buying increase. So the demand is going to have more of a floor and just continue to rise.
They did tag in that Ethereum and Solana as institutional will also be eaten up as institutional demand accelerates. I mean, yeah.
That's just like the greatest troll on everybody that's anal OS backwards and no one seems to pick up on it or care.
I mean, that is true.
Yep.
That sounds like a great operating system. Okay. Crypto equities will outperform tech equities. It's this that I wonder about. I don't think that there's a whole lot of demand for like
altcoins are done. They're done. It's over. They can't sell it. We don't have dumb retail to dunk on anymore. The whole like brief period of like XRP hype and Solana, Ethereum looks like shit. None of them are going to achieve a new all-time high in Bitcoin. And I think that the gig is up. I think that they realize like this is purely just at best speculative gambling on tech stocks, but more realistically, it's just marketing hype and outright scams.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if we see, you know, massive interest in stuff like this, it will be short-lived. Yep. Unfortunately, people still are lumping crypto and Bitcoin together.
Yep.
At least a subset of people are. There's beginning to be understandings that like, okay, Bitcoin is something different and crypto is basically like less regulated tech stocks, but with like way less assurances around them.
100%. Like even think back to like the FTX crash and Sam Bankman-Fried and all that bullshit and BlockFi and Celsius. I think a large reason why there's no retail really coming in right now is because they got burned in the last cycle. They got burned. And the reason they're not coming into Bitcoin is because they still group the two together. And so if they ever do extract them, they're not going to go back into crypto. They'll realize that, oh, Bitcoin was different all along and go into Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully, but also, I don't know. I think we give institutions too much credit as being more reasonable than retail. But in reality,
it's all dumb.
It's yeah. I don't know that there's that much more understanding from a lot of these people.
Gents, real quick, while we're on fiat prices, real fast here, I know Jeff Ross and a few other people have talked about the idea, and Saylor's talked about, you know, volatility is vitality. What do you say to the premise that it's the volatility itself that keeps people buying Bitcoin? And if it's just going to be a slow, steady grind, there's going to be people out there like, well, you know, I'm trying to play the lottery here. I'm trying to 10x this thing in, you know, 12 months. Maybe I should go try something else.
I agree. I fully agree. I think that this is the first cycle, and I've seen this around a bunch, but this is the first cycle where retail looks at Bitcoin as being not volatile enough. Right? Like everybody's so nihilistic and they're like, I'm never going to make it to retirement. I'm never going to own a home. And in their mind, the only way of being able to make it there, because they're in such dire straits, is they need to gamble, right? They need to hit that lottery. And a lot of people aren't seeing Bitcoin as hitting that lottery. They're seeing it as like, you know, you might like make some gains, but it's going to be a more conservative bet. Whereas if they go and like gamble on whatever tokens and meme coins, like that was the thing, and now it's, you know, like Nvidia and shit like that. Like I don't think that your gambler is buying Bitcoin nowadays. I think that's kind of out as well.
Agreed. It's moving to it's like, what's it called? And those that can see through that and aren't focused on that will be the ones to benefit from it. It reminds me of like the just like nutrition and health. Like there is no quick fix. There is no answer, right? You have to put in the work. You have to put in the time to keep stacking. That's the way you move forward. You can't just all of a sudden wake up the next day and have 6-pack abs and be in peak condition. It's going to take a long time. It's going to be slow, and you have to have patience and a longer time horizon. People that don't have a long time horizon are not going to benefit from Bitcoin, and those that do, I think, are the ones that will continue to stack and will ultimately pay off. It just will take a little longer.
Yeah. Yep, that's fair. Okay, they say Polymarket open interest will set new all-time high, surpassing the 2024 election levels. I don't know. I feel like that was a frenzy for the election. I don't know. Like, is it that much more mainstream that like midterms and stuff like that would like? Are there going to be that? I don't know. I feel like, yeah, maybe for like the next major election, but I don't think general adoption has been.
You need a major cultural event, like something like, I don't know, Mike Tyson versus, I don't know, some random, I can't think of a name right now, but you need something where like everyone's tuning into this televised event, which basically is an election, right? It's a giant popularity contest.
Yeah.
Without some sort of major cultural event for people to be like, oh, I want to bet on the outcome of that, not going to happen.
Ben Shapiro versus Tucker Carlson.
I was going to say that, but I thought it was too nuanced.
The 3 listeners in there that got that appreciated that one.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that could be a thing. Okay, stable coins will be blamed for destabilizing an emerging market currency.
Blamed, that's the plan.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I feel like the whole Genius Act and all of the stable coin we'll say encouragement, but regulation is just a way to like boot that can down the road even further. Have people across the globe say, why do I need my own shitty local currency when I can just use the US dollar? And if I can't get it through a bank account, then at least I can get a stable coin on my phone, or I prefer getting a stable coin on my phone. So yeah, I think stablecoins for sure is that play or the early stages of that play.
Now the question is Canada being grouped in as an emerging market? Because it's going to happen here too.
I already live in this world where while I don't hold stablecoins because I'm on a Bitcoin standard, every invoice, everything that I do is based on the US dollar. If I had been like pricing invoices and stuff like that in Canadian dollars over the past number of years, I would have been way more screwed.
Yep.
And so like that's been a very good call, pricing things in US dollars and then getting paid in Bitcoin based on the dollar value at the time. Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
I don't know how it could be, like you said, how it could be blamed for destabilizing an emerging market, as if these were all just wonderful places to store your money to begin with. Like, no, I'm gonna hide my wealth in, Zimbabwe or Chad or Uruguay. Like everything's cool. And no, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, it's like imagine if you had like a super shitty restaurant in a small town, and the food was awful and the prices were way too high. And then like a really delicious restaurant moved in next door with reasonable prices. And then the other one went out of business and they were like, well, that damn new restaurant destabilized the market. No, you guys just suck ass at what you were doing. The market didn't want it.
Guys in the chat section, APAYSYS want us to know 2 things: no electricity, no crypto, and BTC is a tulip fantasy.
Wonderful. Well, I guess when there's no electricity and Bitcoin dies, rather than leaving a comment because there won't be electricity, he can mail us a letter and say, I told you so. So
beautiful.
Please do that.
Yeah. Wonderful. Have a wonderful day. APAS whatever the fuck. Okay. Moving on. Okay. Thanks for that, Gary, by the way.
Yeah, no problem.
We love to hear from our fans. Okay. On-chain vaults, aka ETFs 2.0, will double assets under management.
Why are they
I'm not
calling them ETFs? Are they talking about like mini script?
on-chain vaults. I don't know why. I don't
Collaborative
know
custody?
what. Yeah, maybe.
This author has revealed they don't know shit, which makes sense now. They can explain the Ethereum and Solana comments above.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know what that's. On-chain vaults are just wallets.
My guess is they're talking about like Unchained and Anchor Watch and all the collaborative custody stuff.
Okay, that might
My
make sense.
guess, right? I'm betting that again, if you're still pumping Ethereum's bags, they don't even know about like Miniscript. They probably don't even necessarily know about Lightning at this point in time. So my guess is that's what they're referring to. Yeah, probably, right? If we're predicting that the value of Bitcoin is going to go up, the purchasing power relative to dollars is going to go up over the next year, then it makes sense that more of those people might want to spend some fiat denominated money on securing it in collaborative custody.
Yeah.
All right. Seems pretty straightforward to me. It's worth more. Should we secure it? Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
But it's weird. It's still not even apples to apples. It's not like you're giving them something, they're holding the keys, and you're just promised a cash equivalent. If you have an actual on-chain vault, you own your keys in concert with this other organization that's helping you keep them secure. So whatever. All right. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh God. Solana will set new all-time highs if the Clarity Act passes. Okay, so in dollar terms, that I mean, if they're going to be printing a buttload of money, I anything that is more scarce than dollars will, in dollar terms, be worth more. But Nathan, you made a good point before the show. In Bitcoin terms,
Fuck no, that's never happening again. Those two have peaked. They will never peak again. They will never have a new all-time high in Bitcoin terms. I'm calling it now. Clip it. Have fun with it. Whatever. We'll see how it plays out in the next 50 years. I'm fine with that. But you're right. In dollar terms, like it's even not more scarce. But you can think about if you're going to continue to print dollars, then maybe it's going to just suck up some liquidity because you have more liquidity in the system. But also they're looking at doing like stimmy checks and they're sending out more funds. And if people are feeling more desperate, they're going to go to more gambling. They're going to find predictions like this and go, oh, okay, if I want to have any chance of saving my future, apparently that's the thing that I got to do because I got it from some list from some idiot who didn't know what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Gary?
Well, I think the most interesting part of the Ethereum and Solana prediction is who cares?
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Fun side note that in Bitcoin terms, Ethereum's all-time high versus Bitcoin was in 2017.
Yep.
The subsequent cycle, it was half of its previous all-time high. So do with that information what you will. Half of Ivy League endowments will invest in crypto. I mean, I could see this just being a general allocation just by passive exposure, meaning like it's part of a bucket of things that they've invested in, and it's just kind of like de facto a bunch of them gain exposure. Maybe not because they've said we're choosing to do this. It's just like part of the general basket of things that they buy.
I'll even go the other direction on it. We've seen Larry Fink how many times come out and say like 2% and then maybe 5% allocation. Like he's pumping. He's an iBit salesman, right? He's an iBit salesman going out there and trying to sell his ETF. Well, those endowments are going to be some of his best customers. It's the product that he's selling. He'll probably move some into iBit because it's good for him, and they're going to listen to him because what the fuck else are they going to do?
True. If Larry tells you to do something, I suppose.
The guy that's controlling BlackRock tells you to buy something. He's like, I mean, not for us. We're Bitcoiners. We're smarter than that. But the endowments, they probably will. Don't forget they have cover your ass as well, too, right? Be very careful what they allocate to. And if they have like their biggest asset, we say like custody providers or providers directing them that way, they probably have some little bit of an obligation to listen to that feedback as well.
Yeah. Gary?
Can I veer off for just a second here? Because I think
are we going to talk about Israel?
I think I think we all agree Bitcoin's going to do what it's going to do, and eventually anybody that wants to stay solvent in their wealth is going to put their money in Bitcoin. It's just a long enough time horizon. The more interesting thing for me here is, when do you think the day arrives that we no longer talk about Ivy League schools as a thing to be noted? Like, in the old days, it was like CBS, ABC, NBC, these networks, and now nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit about the three main networks. I assume this day is happening at some point. I'm just wondering when it will be.
2 generations.
You think?
Yeah, I think that's about the cycle we got to get through because Millennials, we were some of us went through, like, some from millennials would have gone through university, like, oh, this was a value and I did get a good job. So they still have that, like, that we just say, like, the shadow of what it once was, and they think that may have directed in the right place. You went through like medical or engineering, you've done okay, right? But more and more I see the millennial generation figuring out, they're like, oh no, I can just learn stuff online, pick up new skills, and go and just be an entrepreneur or a contractor. Like, I don't need to reside within this existing system. Zoomers as well too, right? So Zoomers very much are learning that, like, yeah, university's kind of bullshit. I have no economic opportunity. There's enough now. We're going back to that, like the cycles, like an N of one. There's enough samples of people going to university and just putting them in debt and having no economic value that the generation below Zoomers, what is that, alphas, like the millennials kids, are going to be looking at university when they come of age extremely skeptical, because we have this giant pool of people that, like, 80% went, it cost them this much money, and it did fuck all for their career. And they'll go and look at who are the best performers right now, or like who are the titans of industry that they might look up to. And it might be like content creators, it might be consultants online. They're going to be very comfortable working in the digital space. I think the days are very numbered. I'd say probably 2 generations, the majority of people won't really give a shit about which university you went to, or even if you went to one. Outside is probably still things that are kind of like tradesy-ish, like it's a skill set like medicine for a while. But even doctors, right? COVID, they fucked that up. Your reputation's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I think again we're at that point in the fourth turning where, like, the trust in institutions has already been pretty eroded. So yeah, like if somebody, and like a lot of, funny enough, like a lot of the big jobs, like the tech related stuff right now, they're like, they oftentimes will view a degree as like a negative because it's like you're too rigid.
Yeah.
And you have cost. You're gonna be more expensive because you have to pay your student debt.
And also, what were you doing for 4 years when you could have actually produced something? You're just dicking around on a campus.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, nothing like my job that I have right now that I absolutely love. Nothing in university prepared me or trained me for what I'm currently doing right now.
Same thing here. Even back when I worked like a regular desk job in stupid Congress for 6 years, I studied political science and history at a college in DC. I could have gotten the same education by reading like a civics book and like checking out, not to think that they're all great, but like the New York Times every day. That would have been all I needed to do what I did on Capitol Hill for 6 years. It's silly. By the way, Maxwell's Equations in the chat wants us to know, why wouldn't they want an Ivy League level of debt when they can get a 50-year cheap mortgage that they'll pay off when they're 130 years old?
Good point, Maxwell.
He also adds that college is pre-mind thinking.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a sharp one.
I'm writing that down. It's mine now.
I'm going to rattle off these last couple here. Prediction 10, more than 100 crypto-linked ETFs will launch in the US. Holy Lord, help us if we see that level of degeneracy.
It probably will. It'll go just as well as you think.
Yeah, if that happens, then the previous one of like them outpacing tech would be true, because it would just be a frenzy, and that would be soul crushing to watch effectively the 2017 ICO bubble happen as crypto ETFs.
God, yeah.
Can you imagine just re-watching that history on like a grand scale on like the NASDAQ? Holy Jesus.
Gary, put on the popcorn.
And then the fallout from that would be next election cycle, because obviously all that shit would just completely implode. The next presidential election would be a massive whipsaw, and the regulatory regime would be like, you thought Biden was bad. Holy hell. Can you imagine like Elizabeth Warren and her like army of idiots coming after? Like, it would just... We'd be in for it.
So in the interest of like preserving light regulatory burden and Bitcoin in general, do we have to play like 4D chess here and buy up all the Ethereum and Solana to try to make sure it doesn't crash, giving the regulators an excuse to hammer down regulation? Is that what we have to do? Is that what you're saying, Ben?
No, go the other way. We're going to accelerate.
Yeah. I mean, again, in the grand scheme of things, anytime something tries to come after Bitcoin, people build solutions around that. And so that would suck, but also it would be the hard times that would create strong men. I think
they build solutions around it and then spend 5 years in jail.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Keone.
Yes,
Free
sign the
Keone.
petition for a pardon, billandkeone.org, or just scan the QR code. Please do. Well worth taking the time, and share it as well. Gents, we're going to take a brief little shout out to our sponsors. We'll be right back. We have plenty more that I want to go through. We recently had Samson Mao on the show for the Christmas special. And there's a little spat going on between him and
Rising Star
and Nicholas, Nicholas Carter, who is sounding the how would the alarms for quantum FUD, I suppose. Is it FUD? I don't know. We're going to discuss in a moment when we get back. We'll play some clips also of Samson's outlook for 2026 and see what he had to say. So either way, we'll be back in just a moment. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you drop a like on the video. If you're brand new here, welcome. And please do make sure you subscribe as well. See you in just a second. Bitcoin Well is the best place to be buying and selling Bitcoin in Canada and the US. And now with Bitcoin Well Infinite, it's also the best place to be making large buys at their OTC desk of over $50,000. Their white glove service gives you fast transactions, no slippage, and the lowest fees. You can scan the QR code on the screen or simply head to bitcoinwell.com/BTC Sessions to sign up today. And you can share your own personalized referral link to earn commissions. CoinKite has been in the game for years, creating hands down the best and most secure hardware when it comes to securing your Bitcoin. The Cold Card Q is an absolute powerhouse and my daily driver, and it's ideal for newcomers and advanced users alike. The Tap Signer gives you a low-cost, user-friendly option for those just getting started or for convenience when traveling. You can head to coinkite.com and use code BTC Sessions for discounts, or simply scan the QR code on the screen to get started right away.
Abundant Mines is an Oregon-based husband and wife-owned Bitcoin mining company making Bitcoin mining accessible to investors of all ages and experience levels. Their fully managed white glove service allows you to own all of your own equipment and earn steady Bitcoin-denominated income without lifting a finger. Whether you're starting with 10,000 or 10 million, Abundant Mines is your one-stop shop. No overseas call center, no surprise upcharges. With one-on-one onboarding, consulting, and help navigating both Bitcoin and the Bitcoin mining space at every turn, you can rest easy while Bitcoin flows to you 24/7. Learn more at abundantminds.com.
Gary, you look so good there. You sound so good.
It's beautiful.
That's all I need. I just need the constant praise. Thank you.
You guys should go find his other ads. They're great.
Just listen on repeat over and over. Oh, Gary. I still can't compete with Walker, though. His voice is...
Yeah, I mean, that's hard pressed to compete with. He's just... I need to start talking like him. Up next, we're going to be talking. How's that? Is that
pretty good?
Hey, getting there.
All right. I'll work on it. Okay. Let's chat Samson Mao. So we had him on the show for the Christmas show just recently. He was talking about 2026. What does he think is going to go on? This is from a week and a half ago. So obviously he's from Jan 3, revealed his prediction for the next year. Again, he had his $1 million Bitcoin call. He's doubling down on this he would in true Samson style. I expect nothing less. Omega candles only, sir. So he said that 1 million in 2026, and he's talking about he tweeted Jordy Visser, stock market is giving a warning that Bitcoin is about to rally. Volatility versus profitability fell hard as Bitcoin fell from 115 to 80. Anyways, some different stuff going on there. But Mao did get into some other stuff here as well. He wants to talk. He was talking on the show about everybody calling super bearish predictions.
It's
So
going to surprise people because
let's take a
if
quick
you
listen to him on the show. I'll just make it a little bit larger here. One sec. Okay.
I think 2026 is going to surprise people because if you, I did a calculation before. If you look at Bitcoin at even 110K, that's just marginally beating inflation, right? Like 126K is, we're outperforming inflation a little bit, but that's assuming inflation is something like 10 to 11%. So now we're even trading at a discount to basic inflation hedging. So I think we've already bottomed. We're kind of like trolling around the bottom of the seabed, and people think it's going to go lower. And you have all these calls saying, we're going to 50, we're going to 10, right? Why not 0, right? If you're going to pick a random number of down, pick 0, right? Or negative. I think 2026 is going to surprise people.
Yes, perfect. And further to that, I want to add in his take from the later on in the show. We're talking about 2026 and what he thinks might come to fruition in terms of cycles, all that kind of stuff.
But like, I think 2026 is going to surprise people because if you, I did a calculation before. If you look at Bitcoin at even 110K, that's just marginally beating inflation, right? Like 126K is, we're outperforming inflation a little bit, but that's assuming inflation is something like 10 to 11%. So now we're even trading at a discount to basic inflation hedging. So I think we've already bottomed. We're kind of like trolling around the bottom of the seabed, and people think it's going to go lower. And you have all these calls saying, we're going to 50, we're going to 10, right?
Yeah. Again, I think that it's possible that he could be correct here. I don't know what to expect out of the next year. I wouldn't be surprised to see the godforsaken 58K, but I also wouldn't be surprised to see new all-time highs and 200K. So time will tell. Now, I do want to kind of segue here into the recent spat between Nick Carter and all of Bitcoin. But Samson Mao had chimed in and Adam back as well. So what the hell is this all about? Because I'd say it's a quasi prediction from Nick Carter basically saying like, hey, quantum is a real threat. So again, Nick Carter, venture capitalists, has reignited the debate over Bitcoin's long-term security with a sweeping report on quantum computing risk, arguing that the real danger is not just cryptography, but how the Bitcoin community responds under pressure. Basically, he says that the exact time for the relevant quantum computer, cryptographically relevant quantum computer remains uncertain. The window for Bitcoin to prepare is far shorter than many assume, drawing on government standards, private investment trends, and recent advances in quantum error correction. Carter argues that preparation must begin well before any hypothetical Q day arrives. So what I want to show is his original tweet. So he says that Bitcoiners are in denial about quantum risk. So they are accusing me of conflict of interest. Yes, CIV invested in Project 11. More to come on that soon. This has been clearly disclosed on Castle Island portfolio page since we made this. So anyways, Adam Back replied to him. Bitcoiners and developers are not in denial about defensively doing the R&D to prepare for future quantum computers, but they are just quietly doing research while you make uninformed noise and try to move the market or something. You're not helping. So again, like the quantum thing, Samson talked about this as well. In the same realm as Jan3, Adam Back, Blockstream, former coworkers. Let's hear what he had to say about quantum.
There are so many other problems. Always concerned about Bitcoin, like you mentioned, the quantum concern. Like, what if quantum computing kills Bitcoin? But I posted something on X a few days ago that Bitcoin is not in danger. Bitcoin is the danger, because you shouldn't be worrying about Bitcoin and quantum computing when there are so many other problems that will be caused when quantum computing actually works. But first of all, quantum computing is not a threat so far, and probably won't be for another 5-10 years. Quantum computers can't even factor 21 right now without some heavy customization of the algorithm. But if we did have quantum computers, let's say tomorrow, that would destroy the traditional financial system. All the banking sector would be wiped out. Stocks, trading, everything would be broken. All the encryption used in those systems would be broken first. And it's difficult because those are not, they don't have such a straight upgrade path like with Bitcoin. So for Bitcoin, because it is decentralized and it's software, we know what paths we have to fix the quantum threat, to mitigate the quantum threat. We just have to write the code, and then every node on the network, individuals like myself and others, update our software, and Bitcoin is now quantum resistant.
So again, he makes the point, like, there are pathways to be quantum resistant should it become a thing, but he's also making the point that, like, we don't need to immediately act. We just need to have a pathway there. And it's not like somebody's going to snap their fingers and tomorrow all of a sudden Bitcoin's broken, because the entire globe would be broken if that was the case. But there will be a point, you know, assuming that we can get there, where it's like, oh, we are getting close, where, oh, this is actually starting to be a worry. Which pathway do we choose if that's actually on the docket? And I think that's all that both Adam Bagg and Samson Mow are trying to say. Like, when I talk to people about it, I don't get the impression that they're like, oh, this is stupid, we shouldn't even look at it, or how to deal with it. It's just, okay, we shouldn't panic about anything. And there is such thing as like a quantum resistant version of Bitcoin. But yes, it requires, you know, if depending on what's being broken, it's going to require different things, different address types to move things to. It's interesting because not all address types are as risky, right? Like, it's the old address types, and actually, ironically, Taproot, the newest address types that are at risk, or would be at risk first. And so it would be migrating. The interesting thing that does pop up with the whole quantum thing is, if it ever gets to that point, then the old coins that were assumed to be lost forever could be up for grabs. And Nathan, you've got an interesting take on, like, you know, some people say, well, how do we make sure we lock those coins so nobody can just take them? You've got an interesting take on that, and I'd like you to maybe touch on it.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't mess with people's UTXOs. Those ones are out there, they're lost. And for me, I very much look at it in the same vein. It's like, okay, let's take an analogy. Let's look at the next closest, you know, the analog Bitcoin. We'll take a look at gold there quickly. It's like sunken treasure on the bottom of the ocean. You haven't inflated the supply, you haven't done anything. If a treasure hunter goes down there and recovers from a shipwreck a chest of gold, they're not inflating the supply. They're just bringing some back online. And there's no property rights violation at that point in time as well. So we know, because again, don't forget, for the first year of its existence, didn't have any monetary value. There's going to be a lot of lost Bitcoin out there. Somebody putting in the time and the resources to go and recover it, they're like treasure hunters. It's theirs. Is it going to hurt the fiat price? I don't even know if we'll care about the fiat price at that point, but sure. But that's still not a violation of anybody's property rights. It's totally legit. It's totally fine. There'll just be an opportunity for us to, if it's before the US dollar is done, it'll be an opportunity for us to stack sats a little bit cheaper, and that's fine, right? It's completely within the, we just say, the non-aggression principle, and property rights are completely intact at that point in time. It was lost. It was like, what's what I'm looking for, like homesteading, right? It was unclaimed property that somebody was able to then go and recover and go and get. And I did just want to add, yeah, when somebody has VC as part of their title, and then they're invested in projects related to quantum, they're probably just pumping their own bags. And for context about like the discussion too, I pulled it up here. The first the first mention of quantum threat to Bitcoin was over 13 years ago in 2012. So yeah, this has been around for a long time. This is FUD. This is marketing. This is blockchain technology. This is the ice caps are going to melt. This is Iran is 6 months away from a nuclear weapon. This is all just bullshit to get you to do what they want you to do, which is either, in this case, sell your Bitcoin or buy their stupid product.
Yeah. Further to that, I would also say that if those early coins were to be, somebody were to be able to gain access to them, yeah, would it hurt the fiat price in the short term if they were to go and dump them? Sure, but it gets rid of one of the other major FUD points that has always been trumpeted. What if Satoshi comes back and sells all his coins? Well, that's fucking out the window, because if it happens, then that's it. It's like those coins have not only been found, but then sold onto the open market to willing buyers. And so then you no longer have the question mark of, well, what if old coins come back into circulation? People start dumping them. That narrative is also toast. So in a way, I welcome that.
100%. What a stupid narrative, right? It's like, oh, what if somebody found like a gold bar from 200 years ago? And good for them. They found a gold bar from 200 years ago. Enjoy.
Yeah. Go ahead, Greg.
I got an interesting question for you, just a little thought exercise. I mean, I can't comment on the quantum. I really have no clue what I'm talking about. I just recently learned that quantum computing does not involve Scott Bakula. So this is just all beyond me. But, if those coins, if Satoshi's coins ever come back into the market through somebody, like you said, treasure hunting, one of the things that we talk about with Bitcoin is that it's all fungible. It's all interchangeable. Would Satoshi's coins yield a higher premium on the market with people who want to just be able to say that they own some of Satoshi's coins?
So my brain wants to say no, but I know that the market can also be a little irrational, and maybe not even irrational, because would it be kind of cool to own some sats that sat in Satoshi's wallet? Sure. Like to be able to point at the UTXO history and say, yeah, like first Satoshi had these and then I immediately had them afterwards.
I mean, people pay a premium for like limited JPEGs, NFTs.
Yeah.
Why not?
Part of it though also would be that it would be leaning into because the whole thing with the NFTs on chain, what were they called again? I can't even remember.
Bullshit?
Now. Yes, the ordinals,
Runes, ordinals.
Yeah.
The whole thing with that and the numbering system and how they did it. It was an imaginary imposed system. It's not how UTXOs actually work. So it would be, by getting some of those coins, it would be an admission that you're bending to that narrative of how things are. Like it's like a first in, first out accounting type bullshit thing. But like UTXOs, it's the equivalent of melting down a bunch of gold coins into a bucket or like pouring a bunch of cups of water into a jug and then decisively saying, I got your cup of water.
Yeah.
Did
Fair.
you?
There's two things I want to point out there just quickly, because I think it's actually really interesting, Gary, that you brought that up. Is one, first and foremost, if somebody actually recovers all those coins, don't be so sure they're going to sell them, right? Everyone always just defaults to like, oh, they used quantum to recover the coins and move them to a new address, and now they're going to dump them on the market. I don't know. At that point in time, if you work that hard to get them and expended that much capital and energy to actually pull that off, maybe you wanted them for themselves. So it's very possible they just hang on to them. And number two is that the greatest thing that could come out of that is if they actually recovered in Satoshi's coins, that would end the possibility of ever probably exposing who he was. Yeah. That no longer, because if everyone has access to the private key, having access to the private key does not define who you were. And so that would, I think, put to rest the ability to identify him, which would be great.
Yeah. All right, gents, we're gonna take one more quick little break here, but on the other side of it, Larry Lepard quote tweeted something, and on it he said, "We are going to print so much fucking money." So there's a video that goes along with this and why he's saying that. So we're going to look at exactly that when we get back. If you're enjoying the conversation, please do leave a like on the video. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. We'll see you guys in just a moment. Looking for a simple and secure way to manage your Bitcoin on mobile? Aqua Wallet has you covered. It's user-friendly and puts you in full control of your Bitcoin with secure self-custody. Aqua also supports Lightning and Liquid Network, making fast, cheap Bitcoin payments and asset transfers easier than ever. Plus, it even supports stablecoins, giving you ultimate flexibility. Built on open source code, Aqua is transparent, trustworthy, and perfect for beginner and pros alike. Ready to upgrade your Bitcoin experience? Click the link in the show notes or scan the QR code on the screen now to download Aqua Wallet today. Securing your Bitcoin doesn't have to be complicated or invasive. With Nunchuck's Honey Badger plan, you get state-of-the-art multisig with built-in inheritance planning and no KYC required. Nunchuck is trusted by users to secure billions of dollars in Bitcoin. The Honey Badger plan offers 204 assisted multisig, guiding you step-by-step on mobile or desktop. It works seamlessly with hardware wallets like TapSigner, Coldcard, Jade, and plenty of others, so you're always in control. Plus, with non-KYC inheritance planning, you can ensure your Bitcoin goes to your loved ones. No private info needed. Take control of your Bitcoin today. Click the link in the show notes or scan the QR code on the screen to check out the Honey Badger plan. Debify is the best and easiest way to borrow against your Bitcoin in a non-custodial way. Funds are held in a multi-sig escrow where you hold a key, and the platform allows for excellent hardware like the Coldcard Mark IV and the Q. You have access to flexible conditions, the best rates, and institutional-grade liquidity. If you're looking to make use of your capital, don't sell your Bitcoin, borrow against it. You can head over to debify.com to check them out, or simply scan the QR code on the screen. All right, we're back. And yes, indeed, Larry Lepard, we are going to print so much fucking money. What was he talking about? He's talking about this clip of Howard Lutnick. And let's see what Lutnick had to say about the Fed governor, the Fed chairman, all of this.
The average age of a home buyer, first-time home buyer, was 33 years old. And now it's 40 years old. It's ridiculous. So we've got to do a number of things, and the president is on it. We've got to get those interest rates down. He's going to pick a new Fed governor, a new Fed chairman, and they are going to bring rates down. Why is the strongest country in the world have the 34th highest interest rate in the world? It makes no sense. Lower interest costs and then get in front of all these different regulations and state permitting, right? Think this through. We are meeting the...
Nathan, what's your take on listening to Lutnick there?
Well, they're going to print so much fucking money. It's funny how, like, when they're talking about home prices too, it's like, could we possibly allow for a correction for it to come down in price? No, not allowed. That we couldn't possibly do that. So we'll go with 50-year debt slavery because we're in no way going to let the asset come down because it's a giant fiat Ponzi.
Yeah, that's fair. This is from Kobayashi letter. Breaking, President Trump says anyone who disagrees with him will never be Fed chairman. He also says he wants his new Fed chair to lower interest rates if the market is doing well. Own assets. Man, this is, I feel like this needs a little peruse through. Financial news today was great. GDP up 4.2% as opposed to the predicted 2.5%. And this despite the downward pressure on the recent Democrat shutdown. But in the modern market, when you have good news, the market stays even or goes down because Wall Street's heads are wired differently than they used to be. In the old days, when there was good news, the market went up. Nowadays, when there's good news, the market goes down because everybody thinks that interest rates will immediately be lifted to take care of potential inflation. That means that essentially we can never have a great market again. Those markets from the time when our nation was building up and becoming great. Strong markets, even phenomenal markets, don't cause inflation. Stupidity does. I want my Fed chairman to lower interest rates if the market is doing well, not destroy the market for no reason whatsoever. I want to have a market, the likes of which we haven't had in many decades, a market that goes up on good news and down on bad news, the way it should be, the way it was. Inflation will take care of itself, and if it doesn't, we can always raise rates at the appropriate time, but the appropriate time is not to kill rallies, which could lift our nation by 10, 15, even 20 GDP points in a year, and maybe even more than that. A nation can never be economically great if eggheads are allowed to do everything with their power to destroy the upward slope. We are going to be encouraging the good market to get better rather than make it impossible for it to do so. We are going to see numbers that are far more natural and far better than they have ever been before. We're going to make America great again. The United States should be rewarded for success, not brought down by it. Anybody that disagrees with me will never be fed chair.
All right, I got to jump in on that right away.
Yeah.
One, what was it like? Inflation will handle itself. I'm sorry, did I just hear Trump say the budget will balance itself? 'Cause that's just brilliant. And then number two, I just want to point out, I love when Trump talks about the Democrats because he used to be one, right? He was a New York Democrat. It really reminds me of someone like constantly talking about their ex, right? Like, I've been killing it lately. Things are going to go fantastic. No thanks to my no good cheating ex. Like constantly just for some reason has to slip that in there. Like, we get it. I know you don't like them. They hurt you. I get it.
Yeah. It's so here's the thing. If we could just remove the Fed entirely, then the market would just respond as it should. But because of the curveball of the Fed, and like I mean, in a way, he's right. He's like, when there's good news, markets go down because they're trying to anticipate what the person behind the curtain is going to pull and push levers and press buttons and all that kind of shit. So it is inverse. The expectations are inverse, but you remove that entirely and you just have a currency that is just static in supply, and you're not fucking around with the market and trying to change rates and trying to add more money to the system. Like, just allow things to be freely priced and stop fucking with the market on the other end, then the market will actually go up when things are good and actually go down when things are bad. It's so in a way he's right, but he's like, he's interpreting it as, you know, when the Fed is there, he just wants to use it to further pump bags when they're not warranted, right? Like let's rather than artificially raising rates to take away the punch bowl when people are fucking loaded, I want the Fed chair to bring out, you know, a
More
bunch
punch.
of tequila
And heroin.
Yes. Exactly.
But wait, if we had like a fixed supply and no central bank, Gary, who would fund the wars in, I don't know, Venezuela, maybe Greenland, maybe how could we possibly pay for those?
Well, that's a good point. All right.
Yeah, we
keep
can't
printing.
do that.
No.
Keep printing.
Yeah, it is wild. Like, it's in a way, it's just everybody wants market manipulation. They just want it in the direction that favors them.
Yep.
100%. And the way you describe it is exactly spot on. People aren't investing in stocks because of fundamentals. Like you said, they're investing in it based on what they think the man behind the curtain might do in, 2 months or 3 months or 6 months or a year or whatever. That's how you have PE ratios that are like 40, 50, 60, 80. It's insane. When in the old days, it was like, I don't know, 5, 8, 9. And that was considered how, back in the day. It's like just a perpetual scene from Princess Bride. Like, well, okay, but if the stocks are going to go up, I think you put the poison in this glass. But then you would have thought that you were going to raise the rates and lower them. So it's actually in the other glass. And that's why I'm going to drink it. But if I drink it, that means I know that you'll anticipate that I'm going to drink this glass. So you're going to switch it to the other. That's all it is. That's all stock investing is these days.
And the whole thing's poisoned.
And the whole thing is poison. Yes.
And then everybody dies.
Great analogy.
Yeah.
By the way, Nvidia's at a PE of 47. I just pulled up.
Jesus Lord. Yeah. This is, I don't really know what to, I mean, I think Larry's right. I think that everything's being primed to print, but also despite Trump constantly saying how wonderful everything is, it's actually in the shitter. Like, it's not being felt by the average person. Like, oh, the economy is the greatest we've ever had, but for some reason we need to go back to how great it was, and everybody's in the way. But also, you should be thankful of how amazing everything currently is. But again, the average person is hurting. The average person is not doing well. People are taking multiple jobs to make ends meet. Things are still super fucking expensive, even though the housing market is basically now in the shitter. still nobody's buying, right? Like nobody can afford to buy regardless. So yeah, I mean,
The economy is not GDP. It's not the stock market. It's your ability to access goods and services, essentially. And us plebs can't access as many goods and services.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, people are kind of seeing problems, and it's not just coming through. I think it will come through in Bitcoin, but clearly, precious metals are getting their moment in the spotlight right now too. It was gold. Now silver is again taking a nice little walk. I do think that comes around to Bitcoin yet again as well. But I mean, silver's been, hanging out for quite some time, and now it's taken a rip. And so, yeah, here we go. But when you see silver going up, you know that the cracks are showing in the existing system, I think.
100%. Precious metals are moving in anticipation of what's going to come. When it comes, Bitcoin follows and responds to it. Go back to the COVID crash, right? Bitcoin was down like what, 3,000, 4,000 at that point as well too, and then ripped back to like previous all-time highs and was off to the races. They're both sound money assets. I think Bitcoin is definitely the better one, but they're kind of like the pessimistic view versus the optimistic view. People are pessimistic. They think they're going to print a shit ton of money, and so they're moving into gold. Central banks are, countries are. Hell, even Tether was like the largest non-central bank buyer of gold. So precious metals are catching their bid. When they start actually turning on the taps, Bitcoin catches it. Watch out for May of next year when the new Fed share comes in.
Yeah. Gold is the silver to Bitcoin's gold.
That's correct. And silver is what? Copper?
I think so. Yeah. Gentlemen, let's hear if you could pontificate on something that you think will come to fruition in 2026 that is maybe a controversial opinion, what would you have to throw in there?
Okay, I'll jump in first and foremost. Controversial opinion in 2026. The battle against privacy is not done. We're going to see attempts to regulate against things like CoinJoin and maybe even swapping between like Liquid and Lightning and Bitcoin. I think we're going to see crackdowns on that. Probably not necessarily in the US, despite what they did to Keone and Bill. But definitely, I think in Australia, Canada, the UK, and possibly that the say joint alignment between even the Trump administration and Bitcoin could fracture. I think things are going to get worse, which is why they're going to respond in this sort of way, which is why it's going to pump up assets. And as things get worse, they're going to try to shut the gates. So if you haven't already, download and learn to use the privacy tools now, because I think they're going to try and make our life a lot more difficult in 2026. Again, going back to that emerging market, the UK starts tanking, the pound is doing shitty, and Bitcoin's off to the races. They're going to, at some point in time, even the developed world is going to blame Bitcoin for their own money problems, because they're politicians. They would never take responsibility for what's actually happening.
Of course. Gary, how about yourself? What do you think is a spicy opinion of what might come to fruition in 2026?
Swinging is going to come back into style.
Wait,
Nice.
the dance?
Yes, the dance.
Amazing. Well, I mean, I'll let Lisa know. Yeah, we've got one in the chat here from my favorite commenter, who is got the best name, Pood in the Cereal.
Oh yeah, good friend of the show.
This one's some insider news here. 2020 prediction and spicy take: Tatum will have a drink with Aubrey at PubKey.
Ooh,
nice.
Hashtag do it for Tatum.
Yeah, great. My spicy take for 2026: the whole year will be boring. Yeah.
Yep.
I think we're gonna shake out all kinds of tourists. I think there'll be some hardened Bitcoiners that just get sick of it and they think it's over. But it's and then all of the gamblers, they'll get sick of it because it's not gambly enough for them. And then both will be completely wrong, because actually it will be the complete destruction of the 4-year cycle, and then we'll be off to the races.
Well, let's hope Gary's right.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Well, we're going to bring this one to a close. Nathan, Gary, wonderful to have a little powwow with you guys. Much wonderful conversation here. More to come, not only later in the year, but in the new year. Plenty of exciting stuff planned. Of course, everybody that joined in, make sure you drop a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already. And it's always fun to talk about the, price and predictions and all that kind of stuff in the news. But the most important thing that you guys can do is to take self-custody of your Bitcoin, learn the tools, and actually be a self-sovereign individual. And so at the end of every show, I always play this little clip that encourages you to head over to the Learn page and start going through and learning the tools yourself. So don't ignore that advice. Please do it. It is super, super important. And with that, we're out of here. I'm Ben. This was Nathan and Gary. And this was your weekly session. Have a lovely holiday season. We'll see you soon. Hey, you. Yes, you watching the Bitcoin price movements and the latest exciting news. It's awesome to stay informed, but the real power of Bitcoin comes from taking control. Don't just watch, take action. Head over to btcsessions.ca/learn for free step-by-step tutorials that guide you through every major skill you need to know, plus full video playlists for deeper dives on any topic you like. And if you're ready for the ultimate fast track, scroll to the bottom and check out bitcoinmentor.io for premium one-on-one experience with my team of Bitcoin experts to ensure you get it right the first time. Don't wait. Secure your Bitcoin future today. Hit the link in the show notes or scan the QR code on the screen.